I'm serving as the president of the Rotary Club of Raleigh. And man, nice weather finally. There's no snow on the ground, no ice on the ground. Thank you so much for all being here today. It's a packed room. I don't think it has anything to do with our speaker, Dr. Mike Walden, today. But so glad that he's here to provide us with an economic update. And just so thankful for each and every single one of you for being here in this room today. It means that there is something deep down inside of you that's connected with, I want to do something bigger and better for our community. So thank you so much for being here today. Just as a personal note, because this is a safe space, I'm a little heartbroken. So it's nice to be in a room of people who love and support me. I'm heartbroken for two reasons. One, as you all probably know, Duke lost. It was a great game, though. It was a great game. And number two, it hasn't happened yet, so I'm guessing it's not. But Tommy hasn't asked me to be his Valentine yet. So, okay, well, yeah. But thank you guys again for being here. There's some chocolates out there on the table for you to take. Yeah, we just really want to lean into this being a Valentine's Day, getting ready for the Valentine's season. And if you didn't know, like I didn't know, Valentine's Day is this weekend. So, guys, if you haven't done anything yet, you got a couple days to get that figured out. Quick update: QR code on the screen as well as by the front door. If you haven't done so yet, please scan that so you don't get a nice little bill in the mail for not scanning for parking if you parked in the parking garage. And with that, now we're going to move over to our invocation and pledge. Tommy, if you'll do us the honor of doing our invocation and pledge.
Welcome, everybody. Rotarians, can you guys hear me okay with this? I feel like I'm in and out. There we are. All right. If you guys would please rise, we'll give an invocation, then we'll follow that with our Pledge of Allegiance. Lord, we thank you for pulling together this big crowd, this heart of people that want to contribute to their community and improve what's around them. We thank you for this cold weather. Even though we don't love it, it's nice to appreciate the warm weather that comes after it. We thank you for Rotary, the work it does nationally and internationally, and for the folks here in our club that invest in far more than what happens in our own community. We thank you for these people that have prepared our food and for everything that we are here to gather together and enjoy. Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, like the foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
By the way, if you have not bought your raffle tickets, I need to sell a couple more to have correct change. So please have pity on a brother.
There you go. That's great. All right. Now, this is my favorite part of the meeting is the introduction of our guests. We're going to have Paul Watson come up. He's going to go up around the room, and he is going to, if you are a guest here, he's going to pass you the mic. And when he does, we would like for you just to introduce yourself, your name, what you do, and what brings you to Rotary. Paul?
Hello. Welcome back. I'm going to start over here because I invited this guy.
My name is John Stride. I'm a realtor in the Raleigh area, also renovate and flip homes. And Paul invited me, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
John sold me my house, did a great job. Anybody else? Who else is here? Oh my gosh, a lot. Everything.
Hello, I'm Andy Lawrence. My office is in walking distance of here, so it's very easy to come. John Cates is my buddy and favorite Rotarian, so I came to join him for lunch, and I appreciate it.
What do you do?
I'm an architect,
All right.
all of architecture.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm CC Grant. I am a mortgage broker here in the Raleigh area, and I just relocated here a year and a half ago from Washington, D.C.
Oh, you.
Hi, my name is Graham Schmidt. I'm a probate lawyer. I'm also friends with John Cates and a guest here, and I'm excited to hear about the economic lecture and speech given.
My name is Mike Langley. I'm a financial advisor here in Raleigh. My father has been a Rotarian in Charlotte for over 2 decades and just looking to get involved in the community. I've moved here to Raleigh in December of 2024.
Anybody else? No? Okay, thank you. Thank you all. And I'm going to give it back to President Harrison.
Oh, yeah, Steve. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hi, I'm Steve. I'm with Viking Mergers and Acquisitions. I'm new to the area. Before this, I was in Washington, D.C. in politics. Before that, I was a Defense Department guy, both Army officer and a defense contractor for many years in Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm here because of David Forrest, and it's such an honor to be here and meet you all. Thank you.
My name is Yang. I'm so glad to be invited here. I'm a friend of David Forrest. Thank you. Very nice to meet you. I'm a master plan community developer and I called this North Carolina home over 10 years. So appreciate this chance. Thank you.
All right. If I missed anybody, please stand up and shout. Okay, good? Okay. All good.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's great to have a full room, and we got people sitting, people on Zoom. Thank you so much for being here as well. But a lot of you might have just been brought here today because we have a wonderful speaker and we have great Rotarians that have invited you. You don't know anything about Rotary, but I hope you find today this is an organization that is trying to make an impact in our community, and we need help. There's not enough members that we can have to make an impact in this community. So I hope today maybe something is stirred inside of you. It's like, oh, maybe I should come back and see another meeting and get more involved in what Rotary might be doing in the community. So thank you so much for being here. Real quick update on Patty Rooney. As most of you may know, may not know, but our very own Patty recently had a minor stroke, and he's at home recovering well. I don't know if he's on Zoom or not, but I do know that he knows that we are having him in our prayers. And there's an opportunity, if you'd like to drop off food or flowers at his house, please get with Linda. They're welcome to that opportunity, and that definitely would help them out, especially if you're able to provide a meal. But we just want to make sure we coordinate with his wife to ensure that they have everything set up. But he's going to PT a couple times a week, and he's got his speeches coming back, things like that. So, Patty, we love you, and can't wait to have you back here soon. With that, on your tables, each table has a card. It's a golden card, kind of a brass colored, with pins. These cards are going to Patty. So for the rest of the meeting, if you would please share the pins, write a small note to Patty in the card, get Wells, and then we'll collect them after the meeting and make sure he gets those. Another thing, you'll see other cards, and this is a little activity that's outside of the box I want to do for the next couple minutes. We are in the season of Valentine's, and that means there's somebody, each one of us probably has a special person in our lives that we are going to honor and show love to this weekend. But I think this is a great opportunity as Rotarians to think about the people in our lives that have made a true impact in us. Like they may not be our Valentine, but they have meant a great deal to us. So what I've done is there are thank you cards on each one of the table. There's enough thank you cards for each person at your table. What I would like for you to do in the next 2 or 3 minutes is to take one of those cards. You don't have to fill it out now. You can take it with you and fill out later. But think about someone that has meant something to you in this season of life, and who you'd like to send a thank you card to. In the next 2 or 3 minutes, just at your tables, if you'd like to share, somebody you share at the table with the people that you're thinking of in your mind that comes to mind, if that makes sense. So break. This is your opportunity to talk amongst yourselves. Okay. We're going to be doing half the dollars in just a minute. Yes, sir. Yep. All right. Thank you guys for being willing to do that. And hopefully someone has come to mind that you're going to be able to just slip a nice little thank you card to this week, make their day special. Moving on, we are going to move on to a service update by Kevin, our very own Kevin Summers, as well as Richard, I believe, is also going to come up and provide an update. So.
Thank you, President Harrison. First thing I want to talk about, guys, is I don't have final numbers for the Salvation Army bell ringing yet because I'm working, and Joe Crawford's not here today. I'm working with them because we're trying to make sure that all the checks, and some of you members were very generous in sending checks in on our behalf for our kettle. So those checks, I'm going to try to make sure that they're included in our total. But the good news is the Salvation Army for Wake County raised a record number of dollars for the community. So I just want to give hats off to everybody, including this Rotary Club that helped raise money for the Salvation Army ringing the bell. The other thing that the Salvation Army helped us with, and Richard's going to talk a little bit about books, or his laundry basket project, is Wake Up and Read. That's the month, usually in February, where we focus on helping contribute books. Now, what was the largest number of books that we've in the past gathered up so far? Like what, 4,000? Okay. We're off to a good start this year because we got a donation from the Salvation Army, extra books that were donated at Christmas time. We've already covered 5,000 books. So, they were delivered last week, so we're off to a great start. Sarah and Terry Reeves are going to be chairing this project. We're going to actually go to Wake Up and Read in April. We haven't selected a date yet, and we're going to help them sort books. So, but the continuation, I see that Reagan, I think, brought some books in today. We're still working on each week. If you guys want to bring books, Richard or I'll take those for the laundry basket project that's part of Wake Up and Read. So thank you for doing that. And then just a heads up, on March 2nd, it'll be our second. I wanted to do 2 meeting service projects. So we will have, it'll be here this time versus going like last time we went to the Green Chair. There's an organization called Zach's Toy Chest, and Paul helped introduce me to the young lady that runs that. We are going to package up at our meeting. We'll have the traditional meeting in this room, and then we're going to do backpacks. So what I'm going to look for help from you guys. They have the toys, but you guys are going to bring in hopefully children's backpacks. I'm going to ask that each member bring 1 backpack. So there'll be more to come on that, but I wanted to give you that heads up. And March will also be the Dominican Republic trip, so I'll give you more on that.
Hey folks, Richard Averett. Just wanted to give you a quick update on a project we did in January. I know it's been a while since we met, so I didn't get to give an update. On January 17th, the Saturday before Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, Rotarians from this club and the Southeast Club gathered together at the food bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina and did some food prep. We actually, those potatoes, we went through 2,200 pounds of potatoes to make sure they were right for consumption. And the end result was the equivalent of 1,800 meals. And that was this club in action. So kudos to folks who attended. Kudos to our Southeast folks. And they have asked that we participate in more projects with them. So that's really exciting. And it was quite a gathering community. There were a lot of groups there, but ours was one of the most robust and one of the most active. So kudos to this club for continuing to be servants to our community. Thank you.
Thank you both. Yeah, appreciate that. All right. Next is a membership update. And as you see, Diamante is not here. He had a flat tire. I felt so bad for him. But I will do my best to honor him well. So to start off, how are we doing? We could do better. How are we doing? There we go. All right, wonderful. We have some great updates today. We have a first reading for Madison Guerra, as well as a blue badge offering. So very excited about it. If we can have Madison, as well as Paul Watson, if you would please join up front. Beautiful. Thank you. Madison Guerrero here is, she is being sponsored by Maddie Chastain, who is one of our other newer members to the club. And today we have her first reading, so I have a quick bio that I want to read. Madison is an estate planning attorney with NC Planning and Cary, where she helps individuals and families navigate complex legal decisions with clarity and confidence. She earned her communication degree from East Carolina University and her Juris Doctor from Charleston School of Law, where she also helped leadership roles with Phi Alpha Delta and the transactional law team. Is that right? Okay. She grew up in a Navy family, so she grew up everywhere, and has always had a heart for service, volunteering with organizations like Pro Bono Legal Answers, Cypress Glen Retirement Community, and Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. Outside of work, she enjoys reading. I asked her how much she enjoys reading. She said she reads her average about 1 book a week. That's great. Spending time with her family and friends and staying connected with her community. She first joined as a guest as she came to a meeting, and like many of us in this room, she got hooked pretty quickly. So we're grateful and excited that she's exploring membership. If you haven't had an opportunity to introduce yourself yet, please find Madison after the meeting, but we're looking forward to having you join our club. Thank you so much. All right. I don't know if anybody knows this individual, but his name is Paul Watson. Paul joined our club not even a year ago, May, okay, and has been a phenomenal member, jumped in both feet, head first. And so I'm honored today to be able to provide Paul, from his red badge to his blue badge. He has been so excited about this, I'm telling you. So Paul Watson is officially moving from his red badge to his blue badge as he throws his red badge on the floor. As many of you know, that doesn't just magically happen. He's completed all the steps as a new member has to. He's gotten connected to a committee. He's jumped into service projects. And yes, you have bravely attended more than one board meeting, which is Rotary's version of a thrilling Friday night. But the best part of Paul hasn't been you completing the checklist. You really leaned into it. You've built relationships, showed up consistently, and gotten involved in the life of the club in a real way. And I think he'd be the first to say that Rotary has been good for you, both personally and professionally, which I think is the kind of sweet spot that we all look for. So Paul, it's been awesome watching you jump in head first. It has been awesome becoming a friend of yours and just serving alongside of you. So I am honored today to present you with your blue badge. Rotarians, if you'll please give Paul Watson a round of applause. He's not going to shake my hand. I'm going to take the blue badge if you don't shake my hand. What are you doing?
I get a mug this time?
No, we're going to go back to the red badge, actually. I'm just kidding. Good. Congratulations. So glad to have you here, brother. All right. And then, oh no, we just had a malfunction up there. One thing that was last on the slide, Friday, what was it? Thursday, February 12th, we have our Nerd Service Social at Whiskey Kitchen. It was we had to move it because of all the snow. So make sure to mark your calendars for that if not. I will continue moving on while they work that. The next thing we have on the list is a fundraising update. We've got Chuck Leedy. He's going to be coming up and presenting an update on the America 250, as well as James LaMancha. There was the $250 raffle for the steakhouse, the Oak Steakhouse. So James will be coming up and doing an update on the raffle itself. So Chuck.
How do I change the slide?
I will change the slide.
Oh, okay. Hey, Chuck Leedy, one of the team members for Chuck Leedy, one of the team captains for, and hopefully I'll be a team major soon. But you guys have really responded. This is the Oak Tree 250, just as a quick reminder, not that you need one, but we're trying to plant 250 trees around Raleigh by July 4th of this coming year, as far as honor the 250th anniversary of the country and an anniversary of for Raleigh. So we got some excellent corporate sponsors. Martin Marietta, WRL has given us some media support. North State Bank, thank you very much. And then Duke Energy, the next one. You can go to the next one. And here under John's wonderful leadership, we raised about $66,000, exactly $177. I think we start off with a goal of somewhat less than that, and just to increase it to 75 and up to 100. So this response has been so great. People responded so well. There are two superstar donors, Mr. Roberts and Mr. Upshaw. Thank you so very much for your wonderful, generous donations. Braxton Wilson and Mary Moss. Again, thank you very much. So we'll be having a, this is, James, we kind of talk about that in a moment. Could you go to the next one? Is there another one in there? Yeah. Is there one behind that? Okay. Well, just some of the, Mike Brennan, John Case, Peterson. I won't read them all out, but about 25% of the group has donated. Yeah, membership is donated. I'm betting of the 25, 80% is in this room right now. But it's still, 250, oak tree, they last for decades. So it's a great thing, and it can be a Valentine's gift if one's so inclined. So thank you very much, and thank you for your support.
All right, let's stop. Okay. So my name is James Lamontia, and I have to qualify this presentation by saying that I had 30 people over to my building last night for a Super Bowl party. And from what I remember, we had a good time. We'll just leave it at that. So normally you would shake up a raffle basket, but because of my situation today, it seems to be naturally shaken. So, but this is for Valentine's Day oak tree raffle, and it's $250 at Oak Steakhouse, which is phenomenal. And whoever does win, if they have the roasted Brussels sprouts on the menu, they're phenomenal. So you have to have that. So here we go. I am going to pull the official. Shake. And I got one right here. Okay. I'm literally shaking. Can you open this for me? And I'm never drinking again after this. Just Tom Weber. Tom Weber. Is Tom here?
There he is.
Wow. All right. Amigos. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Tom. That's great. That's awesome. There. Yeah, thank you to everybody in this club for being involved in the Oak City, the 250 tree campaign. It has just been an amazing journey to see this thing grow. All right, birthdays and anniversaries. We have Mary Moss on the 8th. Happy birthday, Mary. Erlene Middleton on the 10th, and Phil Cardinal on the 13th. Maddie Marshall on the 17th. Robin Hudson on the 20th, and David Coates on the 20th as well. And then anniversaries, we have Mike and Cecilia Condry on the 12th. They are celebrating the 43rd wedding anniversary. So congratulations to them. Upcoming meetings, we have no meeting next week because it's President's Day, and I feel like we just haven't seen each other a lot in the month of February and January, but we'll get back to a good routine. And then we have Jason Deshay of Sarity Partners, Maddie Chastain, that's one of her associates that will be coming and speaking. Then we have Holly Schwab with Zach Soychest on the 2nd of March. And on the 9th of March, we have Mary Elizabeth Bennett of CEO of Make-A-Wish Foundation of North Carolina. Now we have a raffle. Tommy, raffle time. While Tommy's coming up for the raffle, I misplaced something, so I'm going to need your guys' help. If you would feel right underneath your seat. If you feel a sticker underneath your seat, please let me know. It should be on the front of your seat. On the front of your seat. I've got some, there might be some gum. We have two. Charlie Upshaw, got a little heart there. This was Weston. Congratulations, guys. Come on up for your present. From the Rotary Club of Raleigh, we got a box of chocolates and a Starbucks gift card. There you go, guys. Yeah, thank you. You could be my Valentine, Charlie.
Okay. If you notice, President Harrison is really looking for this Valentine. If you need to stay after the meeting, just do that, okay? All right, we're going to do a quick reminder on how this raffle thing works. We changed this up, and we've only done it once or twice, so listen if you haven't heard it before. Basically, when you guys buy raffle tickets now, it's going into a couple different places, and there's a few different places to win. First of all, we've got $76, $77 for today's winner, so it's a good pot. On top of that, that means that we also put $76 or $77 into our Joker pot. We have 52 cards in the deck. If you put, well, I say Joker pot. What? Correct me, John. Ace of clubs. If you draw the ace of clubs, you win the Joker pot. If you don't draw the ace of clubs, the Joker pot rolls on and grows and grows and grows. So if nobody wins this week, next week, I think there's $340 something in there. It'll just keep gaining and gaining and gaining until somebody wins it. So this gets pretty exciting as we have less and less cards in the deck and more money in the pot. But in the meantime, week to week, there's still good money to win. We've got $76 for today's winner, and the club took home money on top of it all. So we're doing good with this new raffle. We thank all of you for your participation. If you draw a Joker out of this, you win $100 for drawing the Joker. So there's just a lot of ways to win money. If you're confused, sit there, be quiet. We'll call your number. We'll tell you what you won. You don't have to be good at this, okay? There's no skill required. Speaking of no skill required, Harrison, why don't you pull a ticket?
I'll let you read it.
All right.
That'll call.
There is skill required there. All right. I've got 144. 142.
Hey,
Mr. Daniel Leporelli. Come on up, Daniel. All right. So now that since we're all kind of learning how this raffle thing works, so he won this week's raffle, so he's going to win this week's money. He gets this no matter what, $76. Now he's going to draw cards. If he draws the ace of clubs, he's going to win the Joker pot, which is $270. No, it's not. It's 300 and something bucks this week. If he draws that one. If he doesn't draw that one, he might draw a Joker. There's two different Jokers in there. So he's got 3 winners in the deck. And in previous weeks, we've already played, so there's some cards removed already. Okay? So his odds are, I don't know, something. I'm not. We got a mathematician coming up in a minute. Let's just draw these cards. See if he gets something lucky here. We've got a 4 of clubs. So he still wins $76. He goes on home. We tear this card, and it's out. Boom. President Harrison, back to you.
Thank you so much. All right. Next, before we get on to our feature presentation, we have Happy Dollars and the cart buckets. We've got the cart buckets on the table. Please make sure if you've got any spare change for that, please put that in there. And then Happy Dollars. Charlie, you got reasons to be happy. You got a box of chocolate, my friend. Yes, sir. Do we have any Happy Dollars for today?
I see one Happy Dollar. Thank you, President Harrison. I see my buddy Jim over here. I know it. Hello, Jim.
One Happy Dollar for the most exciting basketball game that any of us have seen in a long time. Go Heels.
Amen. Which game was that? I'm just adding to that. I like what he said. Go Heels. Go Heels. All right.
I have a Happy Dollar. My youngest child, which is my stepson, got engaged on Saturday. So 4 down, 1 to go.
Congratulations, Dan. Here's Kevin.
5 Happy Dollars. So I'll do two items. Number one, I'm a big fan. I don't know about everybody else, but I think it's a good celebration. The Olympics have started. So, we have a lot to be proud of in this country, and those athletes representing us, I'm proud of each one of them. So I just feel happy about the Olympics starting. And my oldest grandchild is turning 1 this week. So thanks.
It's Kevin. Okay. Well, here we go.
Go Heels.
Go Heels, Burke. Thank you, Burke. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, President Harrison.
Little stabs in the heart every time I hear Go Heels. It's okay. It was a good game. It's a big stab. It's a really big stab. Oh, man. All right, now we have our featured presentation. I'm very excited to have your Dr. Walden here today to speak to us and give us an economic update and provide some insight into what we're seeing in our economy and in the world. Dr. Walden is a William Nee Reynolds Distinguished Professor Emeritus at North Carolina State University and president of the Walden Economic Consulting, LLC. During his 43 years on the faculty at North NC State, Walden became recognized as an expert on state economy and public policy. He is the author of 15 books and over 330 articles and reports, and he has made over 3,200 personal appearances. This will be 3,201 today. Dr. Walden is also a frequent contributor to the national and state media and has appeared on all the major national news outlets. He writes biweekly newsletters, columns distributed throughout North Carolina. And he said that you have finished up your next book, which we released this year. So I know you'll probably mention that as well during your presentation. So Dr. Walden, we're honored to have you here today, and we'll turn it over to you.
Letter 20 action and Q&A, right? Well, thank you all very much for inviting me. I think I've been here with you before. I usually make the round for all the Rotary clubs. Just to show you that economists can have some humor, I always like to start off with a joke. I don't have many. If you've heard this before, act like you didn't hear it before. The joke pertains to a colleague of mine who retired. And when he retired, he said he was going to devote his time to taking up activities that he couldn't do when he was teaching. And one of those activities was to learn how to skydive. So he takes a course, he passes all the safety regulations, he takes the dives where he's attached to someone. And the day of his first solo jump comes up. So his family's all excited. They're waiting at the site where he's to drop. They're going to film it. So he goes up in the plane, jumps, falls safely, hits safely, except he's way off target, something to do with the winds. So he's here in this tobacco field in eastern North Carolina. So he's looking around. He doesn't have any clue where he is. He sees a speck in the distance, and the speck is getting larger and larger. And eventually is in front of him. It's a farmer standing in front of him. And the skydiver says to the farmer, well, where am I? He's hoping expecting the farmer to say, well, you're in the Rocky Mountain or whatever. And the farmer says, well, you're in my tobacco field. And the skydiver is not a happy man at this point. He looks back at the farmer and he said, you sound like an economist. And the farmer says, well, I actually took some course at NC State in agricultural economics. Why do you say that? And the skydiver says, because you told me something that was absolutely true, but of no use to me whatsoever. So that lowers your expectations for what I'm going to say. All right, I'm going to go rather fast because Rotary has taught me you all are serious about time. And I think we're going to have 10 minutes for Q&A. So if you hold your questions, please do. The other thing I want to mention, I don't get political. You should interpret nothing I say as political, taking any side. I stick to my lane, which is economics. Okay, I'm going to go down a list here of issues that I think you want to hear addressed. Let's talk about economic growth. The economy has been growing. We look at what's called GDP, gross domestic product. Numbers for how fast we've grown come out quarterly. Recently, there was some good news in terms of growth, growing a little faster than we expected. Anytime GDP goes negative, meaning that we actually didn't grow, we actually went backwards. If there are 2 consecutive quarters of that generally is interpreted as a recession, but we haven't been near recessionary numbers in a while. So I think GDP is going to continue to grow. There's some economists who think that it'll actually take off. Take off would mean maybe a growth rate of 4 or 5% on an annualized basis. Right now, we're sort of in the 2 to 3% range. Those who are very bullish on growth point to the big beautiful bill, which is the parts of that are going to be enacted. A lot of these tax parts of that are going to be enacted this year. Some big tax cuts, both for businesses as well as people. That puts more money in people and businesses' pockets, and that tends to stimulate growth. So we will see. But I think what you can really bank on is the economy is going to continue to grow. I'm talking nationally here. I'm going to end my talk talking a little bit about North Carolina and Raleigh. Now, we've had an issue that's been with us for a couple of years, and that is inflation. First of all, what is inflation? Inflation measures the rate at which prices are changing. Now, by prices, I mean the government does a survey of pretty much everything, price of everything, every month. They collect that data, they take it back to Washington, they calculate a weighted average. In other words, the price of a house gets a lot more weight in that average than the price of a gallon of milk. The problem that we've seen with inflation is prior to the pandemic, we were around a 1.5% per year. That's usually the way we look at it, 1.5% per year inflation rate. We came out of the pandemic and that skyrocketed to in 2022, summer 2022, we hit close to 20% GDP. I'm sorry, 20% inflation rate. That is over the previous year, 20% increase in prices. Now, since then, we still have inflation, but it's much more moderate. Right now, we're going to have an inflation number come out Thursday for January. And the expectation is it's going to be pretty much what it's been for the last couple of months, in the mid twos, 2.5, 2.6, maybe get down to 2.4% increase from the previous January. The Federal Reserve, and I'm going to talk about the Federal Reserve in a moment, the Federal Reserve's target is to get the inflation rate to 2%. Now, you might be saying, why can't we have prices go down? Why can't we have prices go down? That's what a lot of people are expecting. And I will, this is the one, I'm not taking sides politically, but I will mention this. When we had the 2024 election, both now President Trump as well as former Vice President Harris said, if you elect me, both of them have said this, I will get prices to go down. And I remember turning to my wife and saying, whomever's elected, doesn't matter who, they're going to regret saying that because people are going to expect that to happen. That's not going to happen. We're never going to get back to 2019 prices. Some prices go down, gasoline's gone down, some foods have gone down, but in general, we always have a little bit of inflation. That's because the economy is growing. That means workers are wanting higher pay raises, et cetera. And if you look at a historical picture of the economy, the only time that we have deflation, where prices are going down, are bad times. The last time we had deflation was in the Great Recession of 2008 to 2010. That was the housing crash. And I think most people would not have traded the lower prices I think they would if they said, hey, you got to get prices to go down, you got to have a recession. Most people would have said, no, I don't want that. So we're not going to go back to 2019 prices, or we're not going to see widespread deflation, but we're going to see a continual price increase. The Fed, again, if they can get it down to 2%. Now, you might be saying to yourself, here's this guy telling me the prices are all going up. How do people cope? Well, that's because on average, not everyone, but on average, wages go up, salaries go up, incomes go up. And in fact, over the last 6 months, we have seen the average, now this is average, not everyone, but the average earnings of people going up faster than prices have been going up. That's how we get ahead. Now, it doesn't always happen right after the pandemic when inflation was skyrocketing. That it certainly didn't happen. So that's my prediction. We're going to hopefully continue to see that. We're not going to see prices going down. Hopefully, they're going to stay in that moderate range of around 2.5%, maybe get it down to 2%. And hopefully, most people see their incomes or earnings go up over time. Do not expect prices widespread to go down. It's just not going to happen. Now, I mentioned the Federal Reserve. I'm going to check my watch here. Okay. Ooh, okay. The other day, I was talking to a Rotary Club, and I had my watch here. I never looked at it once, and they had to run up and take me off, physically take me off. No. All right. I talked about the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve has been in the news because we're going to have a new chairperson of the Federal Reserve. And even before that, the Federal Reserve was in the news because there's been some battle between the president and the Federal Reserve. What is the Federal Reserve? Federal Reserve was set up in 1913. First of all, was set up to simply regulate banks and also to provide assistance to banks when something bad happens and everyone would run in their bank and want their money out, just like Jimmy Stewart did Jimmy Stewart was the banker in It's a Wonderful Life. So the Federal Reserve has the power to help banks if they have short-term problems. People are withdrawing more than people are putting in. We actually had that happen a couple years ago. A couple banks in California who were related to tech companies were in trouble, and the Federal Reserve jumped in to do their duty. The Federal Reserve, though, has another task, actually two tasks, that the Congress added in 1977. That is, they revised the charter of the Federal Reserve and said, Federal Reserve, in addition to what you're doing, we want you to do these two things. And that is, we want you to use your power, your tools you have, to keep inflation low and unemployment low. That's called the dual mandate. And that's a big order. That's a big order. Now, what are the tools the Federal Reserve uses? Number one, they control the money supply. They can print money. It says federal. Any of you who still carry paper money, I still do. It says Federal Reserve note. They can print as much as they want. And number two, they don't directly have control over interest rates, but they control a couple internal interest rates. One called the federal funds rate, which is the rate that one bank will charge another bank for a loan. And usually when they move that rate up or down, other interest rates, mortgage rates, credit card rates, personal loans rate, et cetera, tend to move in the same direction. So it's a misnomer to say the Federal Reserve is controlling all interest rates, but they do have influence over that. And the Federal Reserve meets, every 6 weeks, and they decide on what they call monetary policy. Is they decide what to do about the money supply. Do they boost it? Do they hold steady? Do they pull some money out? And they decide what are they going to do with their federal funds rate. Now, recently, they've been torn because if you look at the two mandates, keep inflation low and keep unemployment low. Well, we had this problem with inflation, and the Federal Reserve did take action. I mean, they would be applauded for bringing the inflation rate from, 20% down to roughly 2.5% without causing a recession. Usually, when the Federal Reserve would have to do that, they would cause a recession. This Federal Reserve did not, and Jerome Powell, I think, deserves credit for that. So they've been still working on that, but they're not right where they want to be in terms of the inflation rate, which would mean that they want to keep interest rates a little higher. Because to get the inflation rate down, they want to sort of slow economic growth, take pressure off of prices. Now, on the other hand, though, we've got, there's some concerns about the labor market. I was talking to one of you when I was coming in, talking to your colleague telling me about her son's having some problems with finding different jobs. And we see that in the data. We still have job growth, but it's not robust job growth. There's been a decline in new job openings. There's been an increase in job layoffs. And so there's a lot of uncertainty in the job market. I think a lot of that, quite frankly, is tied to AI because businesses are still, AI is coming. It's a year from now, it's going to be everywhere. And businesses are still trying to figure out what's this going to do to my demand, my use of labor. And I will, as a sidebar here, say AI, some people ask me, well, Walden, we've had technological changes forever. Why are we all excited about AI? It's because if you look at those earlier technological changes, most of the impact of laborers were people who were doing physical work because the technology was helping do the physical work so that people didn't think about the assembly line. And so it was so-called blue-collar workers who were adversely impacted. And not that we shouldn't worry about them, but that was the outcome. This technology, AI, is probably going to impact more what we call cognitive workers. People who are college graduates, people who are doing analytical work, people who are doing investigative work. And AI can do a lot of that. You've probably already heard, if you're a bookkeeper, be careful. Keep your boss happy because AI can swoop in and take over that work. So this is how AI is going to be fundamentally different. And we being economists and others really don't know exactly what it's going to do, but it clearly is going to have an impact. And I do think businesses are perhaps holding back a little bit on their hiring because they want to see the smoke clear and exactly where AI is going to take them. All right, let me talk also now about tariffs. What is a tariff? A tariff is a tax on an imported product. And we've seen tariffs in our country for a long time, although since World War II, they've been very, very modest. So a tariff is a tax on an imported product. So if you buy some French wine and it's imported from France, there's going to be a tax paid. Number two, who pays the tariff? It is not the exporting company. The French wine coming from France, the company that made that French wine, they do not pay the tariff. It's the importer. It's the U.S. retailer who's going to sell that French wine in their store. And that's different than what you hear some people, one person in particular, what I won't say, say. So this is it's businesses that have been paying the taxes. Now, initially, when tariffs were employed last year, 2025, early 2025, what we saw was how businesses paid it. They thought, well, this is temporary. We'll suck in the cost, and they made some adjustments, maybe in their labor force and their other expenses. But now that tariffs have continued, they're obviously going to be continued at least for a while. What we're seeing now is businesses are more likely to pass on those costs to their buyers. One estimate recently from a study is that 80% of the tariffs are now being passed on to consumers. And that was actually, if you look at, I didn't bring any slides because we have such short time, but if you look at a slide of the inflation rate, the year-over-year inflation rate, you see an uptick in it, not a big uptick, but nevertheless an uptick in it in late 2025. And that was representing businesses beginning to pass those on. So I'll be honest with you, as an economist, I'm not a fan of tariffs. Economists are trained to like trade. I think trade is good. Trade between people, trade between countries, trade between companies. And it's going to be interesting to see what the administration does regarding tariffs. First of all, tariffs may be thrown out because there's a Supreme Court case that's still pending. Some businesses sued the Trump administration saying the president overstepped his bounds on employing some tariffs. Not all of them, but some that weren't authorized by Congress. So a lot of them may be thrown out this year. I would view that as a plus, actually, for the economy. But on the other hand, I think the administration is perhaps, some of the administration are seeing that, there's some backfire on tariffs. And the president's already cut some tariffs that he imposed earlier on, I think, some food and other products. So keep an eye on tariffs, where they're going. I'm somewhat optimistic that they'll be less of a factor this year, not next year, but this year. Okay, let me go back to the Federal Reserve. I didn't talk about the new chair. The Federal Reserve is an independent agency. It was set up, as I said, in 1913. It is not a department under the president like Department of Defense or Department of Agriculture or the State Department. It's not one of those. It is an independent agency. The Federal Reserve doesn't even get money from the federal government. How do they operate then? They get money from banks that join the Federal Reserve system. And those banks pay the expenses, which are not great, of the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve was set up in an independent agency to, as I said, initially deal with banks that are having problems, making sure that banks are doing everything on the up and up. But recently then, since 1977, they have this role in terms of with respect to inflation and with respect to unemployment. Now, there has been, as you are well aware, a verbal battle. I guess it's gone beyond verbal, at least part of it's now in the legal system, between the president and the Federal Reserve, primarily the chair of the Federal Reserve. The president wants lower interest rates. He's not happy that the Federal Reserve has not been lowering interest rates, but they actually have been after raising them dramatically to squeeze out inflation. They have been moderately lowering them. The president wants them to go faster. Understandable. He comes from a real estate background. And he has pressured them to lower interest rates, but he has no pressure. There's nothing he can do. Now he's suing Jerome Powell for fraud and renovating a couple of Federal Reserve buildings. I think it had been around since the 1930s, but we'll see where that goes. But now the president has an opportunity to have a new Federal Reserve chair at the helm. Jay Powell's tenure as Federal Reserve chair ends, I believe, in May. And Kevin Walsh is going to be, he has to be confirmed by the Senate, but he will be confirmed. Now, does that mean the president is going to have much more control over the Federal Reserve? No. First of all, the chair of the Federal Reserve, that person is the face of the Federal Reserve, but has one vote on all these decisions that I told you about. And ironically, to be on the Federal Reserve, usually to be on the Federal Reserve, you have to be someone who's already on what's called the Board of Governors. It's a 15-member group. They're the ones that vote on Federal Reserve policy. And ironically, Jerome Powell has time left on his tenure as part of the Federal Board of Governors, and he's likely to stay. And all those members of the Board of Governors, including the chair, have one vote. So Kevin Walsh is not going to change things dramatically. To change things, he'd have to go around and convince a majority of those other Board of Governors members to say, hey, we need bigger interest rate cuts. And interestingly, if you look at Kevin Walsh's background, he was on the Federal Reserve Board when Ben Bernanke was head of the Federal Reserve. And he has a history of it sometimes saying we need to lower interest rates, other times saying we need to raise interest rates. So it's not clear that anything is going to change, even though I think the president's expecting that to change. It's not clear that anything's going to change, which in some sense is good because we want the Federal Reserve to be an independent agency. I do want to say that it is not unusual. In fact, it's usual for presidents to complain about the Federal Reserve because that's the one thing they can't, of all the departments, the Federal Reserve is not a department, but they can't have direct control over that. There was a nice article some of you may have seen in the Wall Street Journal, I think it was yesterday or the day before, giving some history on this, talked about Truman, talked about Carter, there was a third one, but it is Nixon, and it talked about how I think Nixon was the one who wanted his Federal Reserve chair that he just appointed to lower interest rates dramatically, and guess what? He raised them once he got on the Fed, once he became head of the Federal Reserve Board. So I don't think anything's going to change. I think the Federal Reserve is going to continue to do what they do, and we will hear some comments. Okay, let me. I got 25 after, so I'll be real fast. Do want to talk about local economies, and the thing that I'll say both about North Carolina and the Triangle is, wow, all the numbers. I would show you a bunch of numbers by the time. All the numbers from North Carolina and the Triangle are better in terms of growth, unemployment, investment, et cetera, are better. This is why so many people, like our new friend here, Steve, has come from another state. I came from another state. Once you're here for a while, you say, wow, why wasn't I here earlier? This is such a great state. And we are one of the fastest growing states in the country. We're one of the fastest growing states in terms of population. I think this past year, we were #1 among all 50 states in terms of what's called net in-migration. Has nothing to do with foreign immigration, people moving from other states here versus people who are here moving outward. We were a net plus, and we were the biggest net plus of any of the states. And then if you look at the Triangle here, what can't you like about the Triangle? We're growing even faster than the state, and I think that will continue. So in short, let me say I think the economy is going to continue to grow. I do think we have some questions with the job market, but I think we will continue to expand. We'd like to see it expand more. I think the inflation rate probably might moderate a little bit, but don't bet on it. We're stuck in the mid 2%. And AI is going to be, I think, the big challenge for pretty much everything in the economy. So let me stop there. How'd I do, Mr. President? And yeah, we got Q&A. Yes, sir. Excellent point. Very excellent point. If one of the outcomes of AI is to make our economy more efficient, which means that we can produce more things at better prices, then you're exactly right. And there are some economists who are predicting that. So I should have said that. I would not personally bet heavily on that happening anytime soon, but I think there's certainly the potential for that. So excellent point. Thank you for adding that. Yes, sir. No, we are a leading agricultural state. It's not the biggest industry when you look at GDP, but it's certainly an important industry. And a lot of farmers had tough this year with tariffs. And this is where the reverse tariffs, if we put a tariff on another country, they usually say, we're going to put a tariff on you. That's hurt a lot of our farmers in terms of their sales. If I had to guess, just because we're growing so fast, we're bringing in so many industries, we're bringing in so many people, agricultural land is dropping. In fact, I think we are one of the leading states in terms of the biggest drop percentage-wise in agricultural land. So agriculture is not going to go away, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it be a smaller face. In terms of what's going to take the place, well, pharmaceuticals are still big, growing. Technology is still big, growing. And then one of the surprises, I remember the guess is, we're now an aerospace state, aerospace developing. The Boom company over in Greensboro. And chips, we've got Toyota, Toyota's making chips, as the biggest chip maker in the country here in North Carolina. So, but we're always going to have farmers, but maybe their clout will not be as great as it has been in the past. Yes, sir. Cincinnati Reds, thank you for asking me. They made some good trades, and I am very, very optimistic. Terry Francona is a superb manager, so I am predicting the Reds will make it into the playoffs. Yes, thank you. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's been the worry about the stock market, but I will quote a famous economist, I won't mention who it is, who when asked about the stock market said that, I have a perfect forecast for you for the stock market. I've got my students working on this night and day. I have a perfect forecast. And the audience was on their edge of their chairs. He said, the stock market next year will fluctuate, and it will. And that's my forecast. Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am. Oh, good. Thank you very much. That's very, yes. Well, it's a problem not just because we owe all this money on it, but it's because economists have established interest rates are higher when the deficit's higher, because the government is competing with other borrowers in that competition for living around money. I wrote about this recently in my column. The last time we had actually a balanced budget and actually had a surplus was in the 1990s. And what happened then is you got Democrats and Republicans to get together and say, okay, this debt is overwhelming us. We got to come up with a solution. And the solution was very simple. If a congressperson or senator introduced a bill that was going to require more money than we're already spending, they had to at the same time introduce who we're going to tax to get that money. So you just have to put responsibility between the two, and apparently we're not willing to do that right now. Thank you all very much.
Dr. Walden, thank you so much for your presentation. And I know that you have spoke at, as we saw today, over 3,000 places and multiple times. I don't know how many Rotary Club of Raleigh mugs you have, but this is one of the high end ones. So there we go. Doctor. All right, Rotarians, thank you so much for being here. If you will please stand with me as we leave with our 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it a truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? We are dismissed.